what is this keyword in C Sharp, when to use this keyword in real applications. Let's see the code first. Okay, suppose you have a main method, and inside this, here you are creating the object of the student class. Okay, then via this parameterized constructor, you are passing the student ID and name, and then calling its method getStudent. Okay, now here is our student class, and now this class also has fields ID and name. So when you are creating the object, this constructor will be called, right? So these parameters which are received from the object creation, and these class fields here, their names will confuse you. Okay, what is like how to differentiate which ID is a field and which ID is a parameter. Therefore, this is wrong. Now, in order to solve this problem and to maintain the difference, you will use this keyword like this with the class fields. Remember, you have to use this with the class fields, not with the parameters. So now the left hand side is this dot id, which is the id of the student class, and right hand side id is the value received from the parameter. So the definition is, this keyword is used to refer to the current instance of the class. Like here, this id field is the field of the student class. Okay, so this keyword is used to this current reference. So id is the part of the class only. So this is the class and id is the reference, like the part of the class. And the use is, this keywords avoids the naming confusion between the class fields and the constructor parameter. That is like one of the use of this keyword. That's the answer of this question. This is a good question from interview perspective and asked in many interviews. What is the purpose of using keyword in C Sharp? So basically we have two types of using keywords in C Sharp. First one is very simple and you already know it. Okay, that is using directive. But mostly interviewers are interested in second purpose, which is using a statement. But you have to tell them both, so that it will give an impression to interviewer that you know something extra. Okay, so basically the using statement, what it is, it ensures that dispose method of the class object is called even if an exception occurs. Okay, so it is mostly used when you are creating database connection. Okay, so let me show you the same example here. See the code here. Here we are creating the database connection by using a statement. In normal case, if you don't use using statement, then what you will do, you will open the connection, and after all the necessary commands execution, you will close the database connection by calling this connection.dispose method. This is okay approach, but for some reasons might be any exception or any error will occur before dispose method call here. Then what will happen? The connection will remain open, right? And it will not be disposed. That is not good, right? Another problem is, might be you forgot to write this dispose method call here. The developer forget it. Okay, again the connection remain opened. Now to solve this problem, we use using a statement. Here by using, we are creating the connection inside the using statement and doing all the steps inside the curly braces of using statement. It means that if any error will occur at any line inside these curly braces, then the dispose method of this connection class will automatically be called. There is no need to write this connection dot dispose method like this. So this is the purpose of using a statement. Using a statement will call the dispose method automatically at the end of using block. Now remember one thing, this using statement will call the dispose method of managed classes only. Managed classes, what are managed classes? Managed classes are those classes which implement iDisposable interface in .NET. Let me show you, like this is the SQL connection class. Okay, this is a managed class. So if you will right click and go to this definition, go to the definition of this class in Visual Studio, then SQL connection is inherited from DB connection class. And if you right click the DB connection and go to its definition, then DB connection is inherited from iDisposable interface, and that is what is required to use using statement with any class. That class must be inherited from iDisposable interface. So that is the answer of this question. I hope you get it right. Can we use using statement with the other classes apart from DB connection? The answer is yes. Using keyword can be used with any class which is inherited from iDisposable interface. For example, this stream reader class also inherited from iDisposable inheritance. So you can use using statement with this stream reader class also. Sweet and simple. What is the difference between is and as operators? This is not really a very good question. Actually, there is no relation between these two keywords except their name is somehow similar. I don't understand why some interviewers ask this kind of questions. All right, it's not about you or me, what we think, because this is important question. So let's explore the answer. So let's see the first, the code. Here inside the main method, we have a variable I of integer type. Okay. Now in the next line, we are checking whether this variable I is of type integer or not with the help of is keyword. Okay. So basically this statement will return a Boolean value which is either true or false, nothing else. So the job of is operator is to check the type of a variable, class or object or anything. Okay, so this is the job of is operator. In this case, output will be true because I is already integer, we know. On the other hand, if we see the code of the as operator, here is here if we assign that a variable obj of type object assigned a value hello. Okay, now we want to store this hello in a string variable. Then we will use what we will use as keyword like this. Basically, as keyword will change the type from the string to a object to a string. So what it does is it help in conversion, the as keyword. So the difference is the first the is operator is used to check the type of an object. On the other hand, as operator is used to perform conversion between compatible reference types. Okay, you can say one more difference here, like the is operator will always return Boolean type like true or false, whereas as operator it will not return any Boolean type, as I said, because they are different things. Okay, as operator will convert. Okay, so this is the answer of this question. Here is again a very important question, so listen it carefully. What is the difference between read-only and constant variables? Okay, at least three. As always, let's see the code first and then we will see the difference. Here is the code where we have the const keyword for constant, and here is the code with read-only keywords. Now let's compare them. Okay, by using read-only fields, we can assign values in declaration as well as in the constructor part. Okay, you can see here we have assigned the value of the my read-only one variable as 100. Okay, and then for my read-only 2 we just declared, and then we are assigning this value inside the constructor part. So this is read-only. Okay, that is fine. That is that assigning the value in constructor is completely fine with the read-only. Now let's see the constant code. Okay, here we are declaring a const field my const and assigning a value 10 to it. But when we are trying to just declare the my const one variable with const keyword, then compiler is showing error. So this is the difference. Using const keyword or constant, we must assign values with the declaration itself then and there. But read-only key fields can be assigned in declaration as well as in the constructor part. Okay. Second difference is constant field values cannot be changed, but read-only field values can be changed. Now my const value is assigned as it is initialized. Now you can never change this value. But you can change the read-only field value inside the constructor. Okay, so this is the second difference. Third and simple difference is like const keyword is used for constant keyword and read-only keyword is used for read-only. Okay, so basically by telling this kind of simple differences also you will create some impression. Okay, don't think that it's quite obvious, we will not tell this. So this will also will give you good impression in front of the interviewer. Now the last difference is constant is a compile time constant and read only is a runtime constant. The reason is because while compiling or building the program, the compiler knows that and it confirms the value of constant field. Okay, because when you will build the program, the value will be assigned to the constant field. Okay, but read only field can be manipulated inside the constructor. So when you run when you build the application, then the compiler will not know what is the value of this read only. But when you will run the application, when some objects will be created, when because the object is created, then the constructor will be fired. And if you are manipulating the read only inside the constructor, then so that's why we call it runtime constant. Okay, it's not a compile time constant. So these are some of the differences between constant and read only. What is a static class? When to use a static class in real applications? Now let's explore this. A static class is a class which objects cannot be created and which cannot be inherited. I know the answer is very simple, but the point is when we are not creating the object and even not inheriting from the class, then what is the purpose of the class? Like, what is the purpose of the static class? Why we even create the static class in our application? So let's try to understand this with the help of the code. Okay, so as I said, we cannot create the object of the my college static class anywhere, and even you cannot inherit from it. Okay, now the use of the static class is static classes are used as containers for the static members like methods, constructors, properties, etc, etc. Meaning inside a static class you have all its members must be static only. Even if one member is non-static, then there will be this compiler error. Okay, so that is the point. So now the point is what is the point of marking the class static? That is for like code security. For example, you know that all these methods are static, must be directly in, and static methods are directly instantiated from the class name. Okay, you cannot like create the object and then you will call the static method. So if all of the methods of a class are static, then marking class as static will ensure that no other developer will be able to create this the object of this class. Okay, or they will not be able to inherit. Okay, because if all the methods are static, then what the developer will do by creating the object of the class? Okay, because there is no point in creating the object of the class where all the methods are static only. That's why you are giving them one extra layer of safety, that okay, now this let me mark this class as a static, and now no other developer can even create the object, not even inherit it. So that is the static class. Here is one question about the variables. What is the difference between var and dynamic in C#? It is a very simple. Let's start with the var keyword. See this code, a equal to 10, and then we are trying to assign a string to this variable a. This will give a build error, or you can say the compile time error. You can see the red line here. Why? Because compiler know that a is an integer type and assigning a string to it is not possible. So that means in case of var, the type of the variable is decided by the compiler at compile time only. Okay, so multiple, like you cannot reassign other type to a var variable. Now let's see the dynamic. If you will declare a variable dynamic, then the type of the variable is decided at runtime, not compile time. See the same code here, just var is replaced by the dynamic keyword. Here first you assigned b an integer value 10, then you are assigning b a string value happy. When you will build it, no compile or build error will come, and when you will run this program, then you will get b value as happy as the output, because in case of dynamic, the type of the variable is decided at runtime. So when you will run the application, the last value will be accepted as the final type and the value of the variable. So I hope you understand the difference now. So mostly we prefer var keyword because it is better to see errors in the compile time. They are easy to fix. Runtime errors are like more difficult to handle and we should avoid them, right? What is enum keyword used for? The definition is an enum is a special class that represents a group of constants. Suppose you have some fixed values in your project, okay, and you want to assign numbers to them. For example, here I have fixed values of levels which are constants, low level, medium and high, and I assigned numbers to them 0, 1, 2. This is fine, we can access these constants anywhere now. But suppose tomorrow we get one more constant like medium high, then where shall I put it? Shall I assign it value 2 and set the value of high as 3? This may bring inconsistency and problem in the application. Wherever I have used this high constant in my application, there might be problem. So in order to solve this, we have this enum version of it like this. Here, no need to assign the value. By default, it will maintained be like 0, 1, 2. Tomorrow, if you will add medium high constant after medium and before high, that will automatically adjusted. So that is the use of enum. Now this is the way to access your enums. Level.medium. Super simple. One more example is here, like weekdays, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. etc. This way things are easy to manage, and this is the use of the enum. Is it possible to inherit from enum in C#? That is not an important question, but I tried out of curiosity, and see, it is showing the compile time error saying enum is a sealed class type, so it cannot be inherited. Also, my suggestion is to code these concepts and try different things. That will help you a lot. What is the use of yield keyword in C#? Okay, to understand this, let's have a scenario. Suppose we want to create a method where if we pass number 10, then that method will take 10 as the input and then gives 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 as output. Basically all the even numbers, okay. The requirement is clear. Now that method will look something like this. This up to, which is 10, will be passed. Then we will declare a numbers list to store all the even numbers. Then we will run the for loop to get one by one all even numbers up to 10. And we keep adding these numbers to the numbers list, okay. And finally, when the loop is completed, then we will return the numbers list from where we are calling this get even numbers method, okay. Now we are calling this get even number methods from this main method like this here, okay. First we are getting the values in the list get even numbers, and then we are printing the numbers with the help of for each loop one by one. Now IEnumerable can be used as the alternative of list here. Now if we run this code, the output will something be like this. Why? Because first get even numbers method will be called. Here when the loop is executing, the print statement will printed one by one, right? Finally, the numbers will be returned in the main method and assigned to the get even numbers list, right? Now when we reach here, then we are iterating all the even numbers and printing them like this. Alright, so this is the normal approach and the common approach, nothing fancy here. Most of us will do like this only, but now is the twist and the use of the yield keyword comes here. Now listen carefully. This code is exactly the same, no difference. See, here the get even numbers method have some interesting change. First, here we will not use this numbers list, and then we will not add the numbers to the list, and we will not return the final list also. So all this is commented, and instead I used yield return I statement here. What is this yield keyword will do? As soon as it will get the first one even number, then it will immediately send this back to the calling method, okay, inside the main method. Where is the calling method? Here, inside the main method. And this get even numbers will get the first even number. Then this for each which is not required because the list have only one number, but the first even number will be printed. Let me show you the output this time, then you will finally get it, okay. So like this, here first 0 is printed, then the execution will go back to the for loop, and then it will print this print statement. So now again the loop will execute and next even number 2 will get printed, and this yield will send it back to the calling method, and then it will print the 2 here, and then it will go back and then print the print statement. So basically this is the one of the use of the yield keyword. This will basically improve the efficiency. because you are not waiting for the list to first store all the even numbers and then you are sending them to the calling method and printing them one by one. Instead, yield keyword will help you in doing continuous programming. You are continuously getting the results and then you can do the further operations on them. So this is the story of yield keyword. Now the simplest and easiest definition to remember for yield keyword is the yield keyword will act as an iterator blocker and generate or return values. Okay, see, yield keyword will here in the program will block the for loop and return the values back to the calling method. All right, we have done it. I think now you have understand what is the yield keyword for, how it will make the difference in your programming. So this is it. This is the answer of the yield keyword.